Welcome to the latest edition of Under the Brown Jacket, featuring me, Jason Collier. You can follow me on Twitter at Boconuts. Well, welcome to my first blog post, video blog post related to the RFC 1925 stuff. So instead of starting at the logical place, which is, with truth number 1, I'm going to start at truth number 5. Because I think this is one thing that's really relevant and something that we try to hit, at my company with basically the products that we deliver. So, what is truth number 5 in RFC 1925? Well, truth number 5 is it is always possible to agglutinate multiple separate problems into a single complex interdependent solution. In most cases, this is a bad idea. So really, where that fits, and at scale, we do what's called hyper-converged infrastructures. And hyperconvergence is kind of this arena where you're combining server storage, virtualization, networking, basically all the aspects of what you'd think of as a data center into, a single platform. Now, the way IT is typically done is done by having all these independent pieces, your storage, your servers, your networking, and they have to talk to each other in these very specific standards and subsets. The problem is that adds a lot of complexity into the equation. We get what we typically end up calling a spaghetti diagram, which I'll go ahead and draw that out here. So what does this spaghetti diagram look like? Let me go ahead and show you. In a modern infrastructure, you have your servers, and on top of these servers, you're going to run a virtualization layer. Say it's VMware or something like that. Well, once you get into, needing virtualization and running across multiple servers, getting things like, live migrations of virtual machines and so on, you actually have to then create basically a network infrastructure and a storage networking infrastructure where all of these different components can actually communicate, because what you want is when your virtual machines are up here running on these different servers, if that server fails, if this server would happen to fail, those virtual machines need to be reconstituted on the other remaining servers within the architecture. Now, what hyperconvergence does to this is it actually eliminates all these layers of complexity. And what it ends up doing is it takes the virtual machines and moves them down to where it looks like they're running directly on top of the storage instead of all that giant mess that you've got in the middle. So to sum up, while it's always possible to agglutinate all these different problems together into this single interdependent solution, that's not always a good idea. RFC 1925, hyperconvergence ties in really well to the truth that they were trying to get out there, and the truth being that overly complex solutions usually lead to more problems, which is one of the areas where hyperconvergence is leading the way, making things simpler and making the data center what it's supposed to be.